Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday show. Is it Wednesday already? Yes, it is Wednesday. How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much, Chai Bureaucrat, for the 6 months tier 1 subscription. Thank you. Yes, a difficult PogChamp. True. Hey, Madame Defarge. Cheeto and Ray, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dabs. So we're gonna go ahead and just quickly address that really quickly. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I think that's good, yeah? Ooh. Hey, Elio, how's it going? Oh, we got one more. That's 2. Ooh. That's 3. Jesus, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate that. Alright, so we did these. I'm not sure if I catched it. I hit the dab limit. Yeah, there's a dab limit, because if not, then we're gonna spend the entire stream dabbing. I don't know if I hit the last one, so just in case. Just in case. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having an awesome morning. Hey, Madame Defarge. The extended dab, yeah. I was not aware that I was gonna get hit with, like, the entirety of the dab request in one. Really quickly, Yeepo Peepo, thank you so much for the offline follow. I appreciate that. Let me start getting all right. Okay, much better. Okay, let me put my phone to charge and get some of these articles ready. Because I was totally prepared. I was 100% prepared. Let me see here. Oh yeah, today we've got quite the amount of articles and stuff to go over, so... Is there a way we can watch the town hall that happened yesterday? Was it a long town hall? Because I couldn't find it on YouTube. I could not find it on YouTube. I think the town hall was in... Wisconsin. Okay. CNN Go only an hour and 25 minutes, maybe? Oh, so it's only on CNN? Dang. For shame. Boo. Not fair use. Come on, man. If you know another way, nah. That's okay. That's okay, we've got plenty to go over. We've got plenty to go over. We return to our good friend, Rudy Giuliani. Apparently, Giuliani is not currently representing Trump in any legal matter, which is I mean, it's not like he got paid anyways to do it. Former President Trump's longtime personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is not currently representing Trump in any legal matters, said senior Trump advisor Jason Miller. The former New York City mayor was the face of Trump's failed bid to overturn the election results, but his legal work with the former president dates back years. Miller said in a tweet, remained an ally and a friend and is not representing Trump only because there's no pending cases in which he's involved. I'm sure that's the reason. I'm sure that's the reason. And I'm sure if you ask Trump who Rudy Giuliani is, he's not gonna know. He's suddenly gonna forget who he is. Never heard of him. Hey Volcanic, thank you so much for the 10 biddies. I appreciate that. Yeah, not my buddy Rudy. He's gonna forget who he is. Never met him. Trump has signaled frustration with Giuliani last month after he became the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. He's told his staff to stop paying Giuliani's legal fees. A person familiar with the matter previously told CNN, though aides are not clear if Trump was serious about his instructions. Well, I mean, he's not exactly known for paying his contractors. He's not exactly known for paying his contractors, so it's not like out of the realm of possibility. Hold on, folks. My cat is currently... okay, hold on. Let me just do another check here. If you're not happy with the work, you don't have to pay them. True. That's exactly his MO. Yeah, Kitty's being naughty. Not exactly sure what she's attempting to accomplish, but basically she's behind the curtain or shades. I think she thinks she's hiding, but of course I can see you, Kitty. Now out of office without the protections the presidency afforded him, Trump is facing multiple criminal investigations, civil state inquiries, and defamation lawsuits by 2 women accusing him of sexual assault. Georgia officials have announced the former president faces 2 investigations over the calls he made to election officials in an attempt to overturn the state's election results. Oh no. Hold on. Oh no, kitty. I'm watching you, kitty. I'm watching you. Hey, Feminist Critique, how's it going? I'm watching you, kitty cat. Good morning. Jeez, did Zeke no power or water? Well, since I guess the kitty's coming here. Jeez, Dick Zeke. Yeah, don't drain your battery. You might need that for emergencies. Don't do that. But this is Vaquita or Little Moo. There's nothing else to do but sleep. Jeez, I hope the electricity comes soon, because it comes in waves, doesn't it? This is Little Moo. No, come here. Gotta admit, I can think to do without internet, but without power, I'd be lost. Yeah, true. Hold on, folks. Let me let this little kitty out. Yes, kitty. Ooh. Yeah, I can think of things to do without internet, but without power, it becomes a lot harder. We lost last night, but I don't think it was the intentional rolling blackout. Yikes. Yeah, I'm having a chill morning. Alright, folks. Let's focus. We do have a couple of things to go through. Alright, And Trump faces a criminal investigation in New York, where the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is looking to whether Trump Organization violated state law, such as insurance fraud, tax fraud, and other schemes to defraud. Yeah, this has been going on probably even before his investigation. The scope of the investigation is broad. Prosecutors looking into, among other things, whether Trump Organization misled financial institutions when applying for loans, violated tax laws when donating to a conservation easement on its estate called Seven Springs, and taking deductions on fees paid to consultants. The former president has also privately voiced concern about whether he could face charges as a result of the January 6th. Nah, I don't think he's... Well, to be quite honest, I don't think he's going to see any repercussions whatsoever. He's worried about it, one advisor close to Trump told CNN. Though Giuliani is among Trump's fiercest public defenders, his work on behalf of the former president has prompted legal problems of his own. Democratic Representative Benny Thompson of Mississippi filed a civil lawsuit on Tuesday, accusing Giuliani and Trump of conspiring with the far-right groups, Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, to incite the January 6th insurrection. I don't know how that's gonna go. Because it's not like he told them, like, I don't know, for January 6th anyways. Giuliani, the lawsuit alleges, riled up the crowd as he told supporters, "Let's have a trial by combat." True. That did happen. That did happen. Hey Grom, how's it going? Good morning, Aronok, how's it going? Got a lot of cool people in chat today. Focus, people. True. Additionally, Giuliani is facing lawsuits from two technology companies, voting technology companies, Smartmatic and Dominion. You know, the companies that allegedly change votes, related to his months-long embraces of baseless conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. True. To the tune of billions, I think, right? Isn't the totality of all of these lawsuits in terms of Dominion and Smartmatic, don't they like all equal like to the tune of billions? Good luck. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. Sleepy and in pain. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Ouch. Alright, we turn our attention to Portland police officers guard Fred Meyer dumpsters face off with residents seeking discarded food. Imagine being called to guard a dumpster because people are just trying to get food that was already thrown away anyways. This is beyond ridiculous. Roughly a dozen Portland police officers faced off with a small group at the Northeast Portland Fred Meyer on Tuesday after people tried to take food that had been thrown away. So this food is already done. They threw it away. Like, what is it? Okay. Workers at the Hollywood West Fred Meyer threw away thousands of perishable items because the store, like many others, had lost power in an outage brought on by the region's winter storm. Images on social media showed mountains of packaged meat, cheese, juice, and as well as whole turkey, rack of ribs that had been tossed in two large dumpsters near the store. A few people gathered by 2:30 at the store in hopes of salvaging the food. But within hours, people seeking food from the dumpster began to report police officers showing up to guard the dumpster and prevent people from taking items. I don't get it. I don't get it. Morgan McKinniff, a resident of the neighborhood, said employees were guarding the dumpsters when they showed up to get some of the discarded food. McNiff began to film the employees and reported staff members starting to call the police for them doing so. The store manager called the police short afterwards, and McKinniff began live streaming the interaction on Instagram. After that, other people started showing up and saying, "Why are you guys guarding a dumpster?" True. I mean, like, what exactly is like the point of guarding discarded food? True. The My Pillow guy, yeah. Thousands, yeah. Thousands. Yeah, the audacity of people dumpster diving instead of buying the food from them. One officer wasn't wearing a mask and refused to put one until the supervisor arrived and asked him and brought him one. Neither Portland police nor the store spokesperson responded to comments for Jesus. Neither Portland police nor the store spokesperson responded to requests for comment. An employee from the store said they couldn't comment. Why? Juniper Simonis, an environmental biologist and data scientist who's arrived to document the police presence, said officers showed up and threatened those on hand with arrest, at which point the crowd moved across the street. Simonis said they took the press badge and went closer to take photos of the officers who were standing in front of bins full of food. I'm just interacting with officers trying to get their information, and when they say we're going to arrest you if you don't leave and threaten me with trespassing. Simonis was bewildered by the threat of arrest. I was documenting the police, that not what was in the dumpster. I wasn't going over there, and the police got the store manager to threaten me with trespassing. Simonis said police eventually left, and those waiting to get food made their way over to the dumpsters. At 6:30 p.m., 2 dozen people were at the dumpsters taking a few items each. Simonis noted that all the food was still in good condition given the cold weather. Of course, it's like ice there. It's ice and frigid temperatures. Of course, it's gonna be fine. It might as well be like a refrigerator. Given the cold weather, one person picked up a carton of juice with an expiration date in March. Yeah, it's not like expired food. They just decided to randomly waste thousands of packages of food just at the mere threat of it may or may not going bad if they can't get the power back up. So they threw it outside. They threw it away, effectively. And people who need the food were threatened with arrest for taking something off the garbage. Both McKinnon and Simonis said the immediate action to prevent people from taking the discarded food speaks to the value of the city places on providing aid to those in need. The run-in also came as the region reeled from winter storm that brought widespread power outages and left many people unable to salvage perishable items in their refrigerators. These people weren't for selfish reasons. They were to get food to distribute to hungry people around the city. If your company is wasting thousands of packages of food, or thousands of... Wait, what was it? It's right here. Thousands of perishable items. Why not redistribute it to the people who need it? If you're gonna throw it away anyways. Multnomah County kept emergency severe weather shelters open on Monday, talking to social media to ask volunteers to keep the door open an additional night. More than 300,000 people and businesses have lost power over the weekend, with nearly all the area's hotels filling up as people tried to escape the cold. McNiff said that many of the people police threatened with arrest and turned away are regular customers at the store. I live in this neighborhood. This neighborhood doesn't have power. And Fred Mayer is telling people in this immediate community who shop here that they can't have the things that they're throwing away: cheese, pickles, yogurts, things that they intentionally cultured and cured. Things that are intentionally cultured and cured. Simona said it's hard to rationalize the actions by police and the store. None of this makes sense to me. None of this makes sense to me except through the lens of severely ingrained policing and culture of disrespect for human dignity. Well, no. This is a huge... Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, a disregard for human dignity, yes. I just can't fathom the fact that thousands of items were thrown away instead of repurposed before they went bad. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be giving away free stuff. Handouts go against the American work till you die culture. True. I can make a weak case for why the store was justified from the perspective of minimizing liability. Here's a quick one. Anything that was tossed out is not as soon as you toss out something in the garbage, it is no longer your liability. You can just post a sign saying, anything here can make you sick, so please beware and at your discretion, and make a sign like to rid themselves of liability. If that's their huge concern about liability, legal liability in case something goes bad, you put a sign on the thing that says, hey, we threw this out for a reason, this is at your own risk. And then that's it. And then just let people who need this grab it at their risk. I don't know how the liability laws would work, but I'm pretty sure that if you post a sign saying that, listen, we're throwing this out, like, consume this at your own risk, that would have covered them. Here is not broken windows, it's tossed away, but otherwise completely fine food. It's not a bad situation or vandalism. It's literally the exact opposite, feeding hungry people, yet they use the same apparatus to prevent anything from being done. This is unreal. Unreal. I don't understand what the huge deal is. And mind you, this is only one situation, but companies, food companies, restaurants, and all this other food industry toss away metric tons of food. Metric tons of food. And we can and we can redirect these resources to make sure that people who need this and making sure that people who need food get food. Tolerating non-authorized employees to enter your dumpsters is in and of itself a liability. Wait, why? Oh, if they get hurt? Yeah, this is like a small dumpster. I don't see how anybody could, like, what would be the liability here? Alright, here we go. I have a solution to all this. You wouldn't be legally liable if someone climbs your building and falls and gets hurt. Yeah, so I don't know. Here's an even simple solution. If you're gonna dump out thousands of food, thousands of containers of food or packages of food, here's what you do. You distribute it to people who need it before it goes bad. How about that? How about that? You send this container over here. You send this container straight to make sure that food banks or the emergency rescue shelters get this food, or if you or distribute it within your community. I really think it's just like piracy. They assume it's lost sales. Yeah, but it's lost sales anyways. You dumped the food. You already dumped it. Too bad one couldn't be liable for throwing away food in front of people who are starving. Yeah, I know, Memias. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, they have food in the store to sell. They just threw out this food because they thought that, they weren't going to get enough power. They weren't going to be able to save the food. Therefore, they just dumped it. But like the moment you've made the decision, because like you best believe companies, I would imagine, take into account lost sales. They take into account lost sales in the sense that their food is just going to go bad. Food is going to go bad. You have to take that into account. So this has already been factored in, I'm sure, unless they're extremely short-sighted. Why not distribute this if you're going to dump it anyways? If you're going to dump it anyways, why not distribute it to a community shelter or to one of the emergency shelters or to one of the food banks or have a moment, or not a moment, like a little gathering with the community to distribute it. I'm guessing they're legally required to throw out good food if it's past expiration date. It wasn't. That's the problem. It wasn't even expired food. It wasn't even expired food. Like they even say like this is perfectly good food. They even looked at the expiration date for one of the cartons of orange juice, and it was in March. That's another month from now. So the food itself was good. The sell date is not legally enforced, true. But yeah, it wasn't even sell date. Like, it was perfectly fine food. They didn't really give an explanation other than they lost power, therefore they were afraid of the food going bad. I don't know. It just seems like a very weak excuse as to why they couldn't do... If so, if they were so concerned... If they were so concerned, outside is literally cold. Colder than the refrigerator. Outside is colder than the refrigerator. They could have literally had a they could have literally had a, community event where they would give out all this food before it goes bad. Or seeing that they lost power, seeing that they were not able to hold this food, they should have immediately sent it to food banks or emergency shelters or something like that. But I don't know. I just feel like this is all weak. A weak excuse to have like literal police guarding a dumpster of thrown out food anyways. I think that makes sense. A lot of food will go bad after a few days without cooling it. Yeah, so if you throw it outside in freezing temperatures, that is refrigerated. And some of these people weren't getting food for themselves. Some of these people were trying to salvage the food to try to give it to other people. So, like, why didn't you just let them save the food while they could? I don't get it. None of it makes sense. Hey, Lost 2, how's it going? They probably figured that any liability threats was not worth what it would be to just let the people take it. I don't know. It just seems completely ridiculous to waste food like this. To just waste food like this. This is ridiculous. Morning, just waking up. Morning. I don't know. Seems absurd. Speaking of which, the situation in Texas, Greg Abbott blames Texas power outages on green energy, but state depends on gas. So I kind of want to take a moment because this is a narrative that keeps showing up, mostly in right-wing circles, and I think it needs to be addressed. So the narrative, oh Jesus, nobody cares. The narrative is that the problem with Texas's power outages or electric grid or whatever is the green energy, the wind turbines, the solar panels, anything but fossil fuels, which in reality, it's the exact opposite. This is a weak attempt to prop up a dying industry, and it should be debunked at any time possible. Texas Governor Abbott blamed recent widespread power outages in the state on green energy and criticized the proposed Green New Deal favored by progressive Democrats. Abbott, a Republican, spoke on Fox News' Shannon Hannity on Tuesday and emphasized wind turbines in Texas that failed due to the cold weather. More than 4 million were left without power and heat in freezing temperatures. This shows how the Green New Deal could be a deadly deal for the United States of America, Abbott said, saying that wind and solar energy make up collectively more than 10% of our power grid. It just shows that fossil fuel is necessary for the state of Texas as well as other states to make sure that we'll be able to heat our homes in the wintertime and cool our homes in the summertime. Number one, the only reason that this is happening, that this polar vortex was it's slipped out of its normal, area or normal purview and slipped so far down, is because of climate change. So exacerbating this is not the solution. Propping up fossil fuels is doing the exact opposite. It just shows how fossil fuel is necessary for the state of Texas as well as other states to make sure that we'll be able to heat our homes in the winter and cool our homes in the summer. However, the Electric Reliability Council, ERCOT, which oversees most of the state's electrical grid, has placed blame for the outages on Texas' reliance on natural gas. Yeah, it turns out the lines of natural gas were frozen. It was the natural gas, the fossil fuels that were the problem, not the green energy. Dan Woodfin, a senior director at ERCOT, told the Texas Tribune on Tuesday that more than half of their winter generating capacity is offline and that much of this is powered by natural gas. It appears a lot of the generation has gone offline today has been primarily due to issues on the natural gas system. Natural gas production has been declining in the state and nationwide this year, according to S&P Global Platts, which is estimated, while it's estimated that 80% of Texas grid capacity may be generated by natural gas, coal, and nuclear power. Just 7% of its winter capacity was due to come from wind. The graphic below, provided by Statista, shows the impact of power outages across the U.S. Ooh. The state is experiencing frozen natural gas wells, frozen wind turbines, and at least one nuclear plant that has also shut down in the cold weather, but gas is the largest factor. Gas supplies for electric generation in the state are already strained in the winter, according to Houston Chronicle. The Texas Railroad Commission, the body that regulates oil and gas, reported freezing conditions among some producers, including Permian Basin and Panhandle. These conditions have affected production, and Commission issued an emergency order so that gas could be delivered first to homes and hospitals, schools, and churches amid the shortages. Gas would then be delivered at power plants and industrial locations. Texas is a gas state. Michael Weber, an energy resource professor at the University of Texas, told the Texas Tribune, gas is failing in the most spectacular fashion right now. Also, this is not just a failure on fossil fuels, but this is also a failure of the way Texas is set up in terms of its energy. Texas is, for all, I guess, intents and purposes, it's all essentially by itself. Good morning, Justin. How's it going? Essentially, Texas is kind of like ERCOT is by itself. So it can't, in an emergency situation, pull power from other states like the rest of the United States is coordinated. Fossil fuels will be the cause of the largest blackout in human history. It's then, yeah, I mean, fossil fuels are already a problem in terms of like California when fossil fuels are a problem in California. They're a problem in Texas. I mean, why do we keep propping up this dying industry anyways? In Sweden, we legitimately had a power shortage in some areas recently because of how we've been phasing out nuclear and fossil fuels. Wasn't a power outage, but electricity prices spiked because of having to buy energy from other countries. Well, I mean, so it wasn't a power outage. You're just saying that prices spiked up for a little bit. Yeah, that's if you have to buy energy from other countries, and furthermore, if you're in that transitionary period, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of pain, but the alternative is catastrophe. ERCOT said they can't say when power will be fully restored in Texas, but the state is expected to suffer severe winter weather as millions remain without power or heat in their homes. So no, this lie that keeps getting perpetuated that the reason why Texas is suffering right now is due to green energy is a lie. Is a complete lie. Literally throwing resources at our own demise, it's preposterous. True. It's just unreal. So to piggyback off that, this is a mayor of Texas. This was supposed to be a private Facebook post, by the way. A private Facebook post that got leaked. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the articles going around, but this is the actual screenshot of the private, well, what he thought was the private, was a private Facebook post. That and the fact that actual snowstorms themselves have been attributed to climate change. Yeah, so so the explanation for that, if I'm correct, and someone can fact check me, if I'm correct, so the polar vortex that's kind of hanging out usually stays confined to that area because that's where it needs to stay. The moment it starts to experience abnormalities and start creeping out, then that means what's normally the polar regions aren't getting as cold, which contributes in the later down the line, which contributes to climate change or warming. All of these like abnormal weather patterns and abnormal behavior of our weather is due to climate change. Because this what's been happening is definitely not normal by any stretch of the imagination. Is Tin Boyd a Republican? I don't know, but a quick Google search will tell us. Um, I don't see that he is of any. Let me see. Oh, why don't we go straight to the source? Why don't we go straight to the source? Okay, so according to his profile, he is related to the Republican Party right here, but it also says related pages Democratic Party. So I don't know what his party affiliation is, but I'm sure we can Google this. Yep, Republican Party. People have to step. People have to stop expecting having no drinkable water coming out of the faucet or having power faced with their energy bill. Jesus. We will need to, as Bela asked. We need to ask. We need to ask Bela such a question. She's a resident leftist weather person. True. What is the climate change business? My congressperson told me source. Oh no. Hey Jesse. Electricity and tap water is now a handout. Yep. True. Apparently. I literally was just reading this post before tuning in a minute ago. Hey. Well, I'm glad you're here. Alright. Now that we got that cleared out. Yes, it seems like he is a member of the Republican Party. He's definitely right wing at the least. Let me hurt some feelings while I have a minute. No one owes you or your family anything, nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during trying times like these. Sink or swim, it's your choice. Cool. The city and county, along with power providers or any other services, owe you nothing. Damn. So then what is your point? What is your purpose here, Mayor? Well, ex-mayor, because he resigned. I'm sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. That's really weird. What handout exactly do you mean? As some people in chat have pointed out, you pay electricity bills, you pay water bills. What exactly is the handout? If you don't have electricity, you step up and come up with a game plan to keep your family warm and safe. What? If you have no water, you deal without and think outside the box to survive. What is this, like an episode of Bear Grylls? And supply water to your family. If you are sitting at home in the cold because you have no power and you're sitting there waiting for someone to come rescue you because you're lazy, is a direct result of your raising. Oh, that's really weird. Um, Jesus Christ, this is like beyond the pale. This is beyond the pale. Hey, Grolum, how's it going? Immediately, the feelings of an English teacher hurt with this bad grammar. Good start. Yeah. When I don't have power or tap water when I really don't want something, it hurts my feelings. True. It's well known that the mayor generates his own energy himself by rotating a magnet for 5 hours a day. True. Hey, Grolum, how's it going? Yes, in some cases it is illegal. Of course. What do you mean your house is on fire? No, we can't send a fire engine. Didn't you plan ahead and fireproof your house? My friend, you were clearly just raised badly. You're just lazy. You're just lazy. How could you not fireproof your home? And why should you depend on a fire department? Don't you have a hose to put out the fire yourself? Jeez. Take some personal responsibility. What, you're being like assaulted or something like that? Why would you ever call any type of like police forces? Why would you ever do that? Have some personal responsibility. Have some personal responsibility. Like, what kind of argument is this? Why is everyone a victim? Why do you need a handout? Like, this is just like, I don't know if there's like something missing there, but or this is just a vile human being who thinks that basic necessities are handouts. If you ever hey guys, if you ever get cancer, you have to think outside the box to survive and make your own chemotherapy. Why would you ever rely on any handouts, guys? Why would you rely on any type of handout? I once saw a police guarding a bottle full of rainwater. You should have a... yeah, exactly. You should have bought a second home out of state and then went there temporarily during the blizzard. Don't you have a helicopter? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that's right. Wow. You guys are just so lazy and entitled. You guys didn't think about buying an extra home out of state where you could survive? Jeez. If you're sitting at home in the cold because you have no power and you're sitting there waiting for someone to come rescue you, because you're lazy and is the direct result of your raising, only the strong will survive. Oof. Oof. What are we reading here? Oh, this is a cool, nice, supposedly private post from a Texas mayor who had to, who I just caught that. I just caught that. Okay. So so basically this is a mayor of Texas who had to resign after this being public because he thought it was private. He thought it was a private post. Nah, nothing on the internet is private, my friend. Nothing is private on the internet, my friend. So yeah, this is a huge yikes. Only the strong will survive. This is some might makes right shit right here. Oof. Folks, God has given us the tools to support ourselves in times like these. You mean like the ability and cognitive like capacity to formulate groups, which formulate communities that elect leaders like government, so that they'll be able to like represent us and help us, and collectively use our resources to provide basic services. You mean that God-given gift? The tools to support ourselves in times like this is sadly a product of socialist government. Huh, that's really weird. Socialist government. Hey folks, really quickly, remind me what party controls the state of Texas? Everyone for themselves, this is America, true. Well, this is that guy's view of America. My favorite part is that these are the same people who also make the argument that they should have literacy tests to vote. On evidence of this, the left might need to change their stance. True. You know what? You're right. Hey, we'll give the right wingers this one. All right. You know what? Maybe you should have a literacy test to be able to vote. Yeah. You know what? That sounds like a great. That sounds like a great idea. Alright. Real quick. Are people in Congress allergic to the internet? Yes. Congress has absolutely no idea. So yeah, remind me, is there a socialist government in charge? What about the last 4 years beforehand? Before this, was that another socialist government in charge? What about the state of Texas? If you want to take it like local, which party controls the state of Texas? That's weird. Of a socialist government where they feed people to believe that the few will work and others will become dependent for handouts. That's not what socialism means. Am I sorry that you have been dealing with that without electricity and water? Yes. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna provide for anyone that is capable of doing it themselves. What? Is he advocating for like for people to just like start up constructing their own infrastructure like electricity and water? And furthermore, you want to talk about like government handouts? Answer me this, Tim. Answer me this, Tim. Who do you think pays your salary? Who do you think pays your salary? What a clown. We have lost sight of those in need and those that take advantage of the system and mesh them into one group. What is this argument? This means nothing. Bottom line, quit crying. Oh yeah, sorry. Hey, listen folks, there's been over, about a dozen people who have died? Yeah, just quit crying and looking for a handout. Get off your ass and take care of your own family. Cool. Nice meme. Bottom line, don't be a part of a problem, be part of the solution. Yeah, this guy is 100% a clown. And should not be in any way, shape, or form near a position of power. Everyone needs to have their own bomb shelter with running water, electricity, militia, the government officials. Wait a minute. Yeah, hey, that sounds like something that this guy benefited from. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's 100% a clown. 100% certified clown. Imagine thinking like the people who have... By the way, this is incompetence of leadership like you. This is a result of bad leadership which you've been a part of that resulted in this situation in the first place. Because Texas has a unique setup where they're not connected to any other grid, so they can't draw power from other states or anything like that, and they rely too much on natural gas, which also screwed them. Those are also policy decisions. I'd like to remind that the Republican Party is the one that controls Texas. So I don't know where he's getting this wild, like, you see, this is why nobody takes these people seriously when they continue to like cry and yell about like a socialist plot to take over America or whatever the heck they're screeching about, because like, how is this a product of socialist government? Which socialist government? Do you mean like Trump's last 4 years? Because that's who was in power the last 4 years. Do you mean the Texas Republican Party, who has been in power for God knows how long? Do you mean that socialist government? I mean, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing and disgusting. Because number one, you can't talk about God, because I'm assuming this guy is like some type of like Christian dude. You can't talk about God or the church or being a good Christian or whatever, and then on the same breath tell everybody to just fend for themselves. No empathy, no compassion. An elected official should be more organized. How about forming some freaking paragraphs in his thoughts? Yeah, like this is clearly this is beyond the pale. Isn't Texas a red state? Exactly. Not surprised if that was the order of operations, Grolem. Not surprised if that was the order of operations. Yeah, he thought he thought that this was going to be a private post, which is even worse. Which is even worse because like, so in other words, you're pretending to care about people because you're in a position of power. The only reason why anybody should be seeking office is because you're supposed to be a public servant. And you claim to be a public servant, and you claim that you care about the people or whatever, but it actually, in private, oof, does the mask fall off. Oof, does the mask fall off. And what is this only the strong will survive? What is this might makes right shit? Incredible. And sadly, like, the worst that's gonna happen to him is that he resigns, or he did resign, and yeah, that's it. In a couple of weeks, when all of this is over, when this huge like snowstorm is over, this is all gonna be forgotten. Yeah, me too. My favorite quote from the New Testament is when Jesus walked into the temple and shouted, "Stop asking for damn handouts," and then upturned the tables with all the food for the hungry. It was in the book of Tim 2021. True. Because of course, I have to do, as much as possible, a environmental article. People should be alarmed. Air pollution in U.S. subway system stuns researchers. People traveling on subway systems in major U.S. cities are being exposed to unsafe amounts of air pollution, with commuters in New York, New Jersey subject to the highest level of pollution. Tiny airborne particles, probably thrown up by train brakes or the friction between train wheels, and these that contain the bulk of subway systems in the U.S. The level of these tiny specks of pollution, called PM 2.5, were well above the nationally determined daily safe levels of 35 micrograms per cubic meter in each of these cities. New York's Metropolitan Transit Authority system had 251 micrograms per cubic meter, followed by Washington, D.C. with 145 micrograms per cubic meter. Philadelphia was, comparatively, the cleanest system, but still breached the limit beyond which serious health hazards are risked. New Yorkers in particular should be concerned about the toxins they're inhaling, said the study co-author Terry Gordon, a professor at the New York University's Grossman School of Medicine, with the research finding that concentration of hazardous metals and organic particles were anywhere from 2 to 7 times higher than outdoor air samples in the city. Yikes. Christopher Street, a Manhattan station that helps connect New York and New Jersey, had an incredible particle pollution level of 1,499 micrograms per cubic meter, about 77 times higher than the above ground pollution. This is a pollution level more commonly found near a large wildfire during during a building demolition. Jesus Christ. It was the worst pollution ever measured in a subway station, higher than some of the worst days in Beijing or Delhi. Jesus. Yeah, like all of those people who complain about like India or China have absolutely no like ground to stand on. Who said he was so amazed by the readings on his instrument he had to ask colleagues to conduct repeated tests to ensure that the figures were correct. It just wasn't believable. My colleague went down there and his airways were feeling tight after an hour or so. The researchers calculated that someone making a typical commute to and from Christopher Street was increasing the risk of an adverse cardiovascular event by 10%. But the station wasn't the only one with elevated airborne toxins, with Broadway in Boston, 2nd Avenue in New York, and 30th Street in Philadelphia among the most polluted stops in the US Northeast. People should be highly alarmed by these levels. The subway systems typically shuttle millions of people around US cities, with New York's MTA, the country's largest, conveying 5.5 billion people around New York every day in 2019. The use of subway has plummeted during the coronavirus pandemic. However, with many of the remaining commuters, for those working in frontline essential jobs. Analysis of air samples shows that the pollutants were mainly composed of iron and organic compound, a chemical produced from the breakdown of fossil fuels or decaying plants and animals. The latter has, when inhaled, linked to an increase of respiratory conditions, lung cancer, and heart disease. It is not entirely clear why pollution in subway is worse than above ground, though open air is able to dilute and remove some of the fumes from cars and trucks, while underground stations are often poorly ventilated. Gordon stressed that more research was needed to ascertain the exact health impact upon commuters and transit workers who spend prolonged times in polluted stations. The researchers also plan to further explore the exact source of pollutants, which can range from exhaust given by diesel locomotives to dust whipped up from the remains of dead rodents. Oof. This is an important contribution, especially to our understanding of the disproportionate burden of air pollution faced by low-income communities, and communities of color. Gretchen Goldman, research director of the Union of Concerned Scientists, who was not involved in the study, which was published in the Environmental Health Perspective. As the scientific community works to better understand exposure and potential health, yes, this is true. I mean, like, what we should do, they kind of like told us, right, that these subway stations are extremely poorly ventilated, and they don't have the same advantages as being above ground, right? They need to solve that. And make sure that and transition to a more greener energy, because some of these locomotives aren't they driven by fossil fuels? According to what they set up here. As the scientific community works better to understand exposure and potential health effects of pollution in urban environments, I hope local decisions make this valuable work. Local decision makers use this valuable work to inform the best ways of addressing known racial and socioeconomic inequities in air pollution exposure across U.S. cities. Well, this is mostly like, yeah, of course, if you have high, dense populations, and generally speaking, on the more like poor end cities, it's going to be worse. The MTA said that the researchers only sampled a small fraction of the subway system, and the average wait times in rush hour are less than referenced in the study. However, added that it is looking at new air filtration systems for the subway. Yeah, of course. We've conducted previous air quality tests on subway trains operating in our system and found no health risk. However, we will thoroughly review this study as the safety of customers and employees is always our highest priority, said Tim Minton, MTA's communication director. The MTA is currently piloting technology solutions as a result of pandemic-related innovation that will enhance filtration in subway cars. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea. Oof. Hey Kevin, how's it going? Ooh, I'm the worst person to ask. I am the worst person to ask because I have absolutely no concept of diet or counting calories. Or what's good or bad for you. I would probably, I mean, I don't want to say look it up on Google because not everything on the internet is true. Not everything posted on a YouTube video is true, so I don't know. I think that if you have a very, I think that from what I've learned is if you eat small portions of food throughout the day, you actually limit how much you eat, and that is a very good start in terms of like attempting to lose weight. But I don't know if anyone, I see Grolum, if anyone wants to clarify that, you know. And anybody like when you try to like talk about diets or stuff, I think the most important part is not only like the amount that you eat, but it's also like what you eat as well. So I don't know. I think like stressing that you eat like smaller portions and stuff like that may help, but I don't know. Ah, here we are. So if you're trying to lose weight, eat less calories than you're burning. I see. Yeah, if you guys want to hash that out, or if you have any questions, maybe, because I know Grolum, it doesn't matter if you're eating 2,000 calories of salad, if you're only burning 1,500, you're not going to lose weight. Yeah. So it's about eating more, or sorry, eating less than you burn. I only burn 300 calories a day, 1 hour walk. So then that means you try to, yeah, so you would have to, I guess, do some type of combination. I don't know. I'm not a health or diet expert. I'm like the worst person to ask. I'm not even gonna pretend I know. So in the latest wave of censorship, local Alaska Republicans censured Lisa Murkowski, citing impeachment vote and other issues. Damn. Republican officials in at least 5 Alaska State House districts have approved resolutions censuring U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski and many of those officials. They believe that the state party will also consider a resolution denouncing her. Damn. The resolutions are at least partially motivated by Murkowski's support for the impeachment of Donald Trump, but several sponsors expressed wider discontent with the senator. The district's action set up a collision course with the state Republican Party organization, where Chairman Glenn Cleary has supported a Big Ten approach to party membership. If we're going to win this game, you will, or win, if you will, or win at politics and maintain our freedoms. What? This isn't a game. And maintain our freedoms? What are you talking about? Then we're going to have to band together and not splinter ourselves. Huh. Republican officials in other states have expressed their disapproval of elected Republicans who supported the impeachment, but Alaska's Republican organization has remained relatively quiet until recently. I think the party will do what it may do. We've seen it happen in other states where the Republican colleagues who voted to convict have seen that pushback within the party. I stand my ground. If I had to take that vote again, I would vote to uphold my oath of office, and if the party is to censure me because they felt that I needed to support the party, they can make that statement, but I will make the statement again that my obligation is to support the Constitution that I pledge to uphold, and I will do that even if it means I have to oppose the direction of my state party. Yeah, so imagine being so triggered that one of your members decided to vote against the party. You got so triggered that you had to censure them, because that's really weird. I thought, like, what about this, like, whole narrative of, like, oh, I'll just post in Discord and maybe it'll be simple there. Maybe if you wanted to, you could eat McDonald's every day and lose weight as long as you were burning more calories than you were consuming. Would you have the best quality to have? Probably not. Also, too, just because you look good doesn't mean you're healthy. True. Yeah. Shout your Discord out there as well. So yeah, imagine being so mad that that your senator voted against the dear leader, because that's what it is. So you have to censure them. Damn, what is... I forget. I forget. Wasn't the Republicans crying about, like, censorship or this, like, the battlefield of ideas, and, like, how we're supposed to and how the left is all about groupthink and things like that. That's really weird, because it actually turns out that it's actually the Republican Party who is 100% behind the groupthink. Everything that goes against the dear leader at the time is bad. And it's not just Lisa Murkowski. That's only in Alaska. They censured a whole bunch of other senators. They censured Jesus, what was her name? Cheney? They censored Cheney for daring to go against the dear leader. Unbelievable. In the district that covers Wasilla Eagle River and Butte, a resolution approved January 28th said Murkowski should be censured because registered Republicans should make a good faith effort to support other Republicans, such as the president. Nice. Republicans in District 8 covering the Big Lake, District 9 covering Valdez, Delta Junction, and Eastern Matanuska. I can't pronounce any of these names. Susitna Borough have also approved resolutions of censure. Murkowski is up for re-election in 2022. A censure would normally be bad news for candidates' chances in the statewide primary, but Alaskans last year approved ballot measure 2, which changed the state election system. Murkowski no longer has to pass through a Republican primary election like the one she lost in 2010, and a nearly unprecedented write-in campaign saw her re-elected in November that year. Some Republicans are suspicious of the measure and believe Murkowski was behind it, citing the involvement of former Murkowski officials and staffers who said they were deeply involved in the pro-measure effort. Everyone I talked to on the Republican side thinks it's idiomatic, meaning, A follows B, but it's about as proven as it needs to be. I think that if you're reporting on it, her fingerprints are all over it. Ballot measures 2 principal author, a former Murkowski campaigner, has denied that the measure was intended to benefit her. Murkowski herself said Tuesday that it's a mistake to think that she would act any differently without ballot measure 2. I've not shied away from making difficult or sometimes controversial statements or decisions. I think I have a pretty demonstrated record of independence and bucking the party. Nah, I'm sorry. Just because you voted against your party this like 1 or 2 times is irrelevant to me. However, I find it interesting that the moment you did in these moments, there was such a backlash. And it certainly causes some issues within the party itself. Murkowski voted in line with Trump's position 72% of the time. Yeah, so the majority of the time. While he was in office, according to political website 538, in comparison, Alaskan Republican Senator Dan Sullivan voted in line 88% of the time. Among Republican senators who were in office for Trump's entire term, only Susan Collins of Maine, Rand Paul of Kentucky voted in line with Trump's position, less than Murkowski. State Chairman Clary has not responded to numerous requests for an interview, but he called into a conservative radio host last month to defend Murkowski and urged the host to stop attacking fellow Republicans. I wish, as a party chair, that Republicans would start demonizing and categorizing each other and support each other. Would stop demonizing and categorizing each other and support each other. You may not vote for somebody, but that doesn't mean you have to demonize somebody and categorize somebody in this category called Rhino, referring to the term Republican in name only. The host of the show, Dan Fagan, fired back. You've got to be kidding me. Don't demonize someone like that. Of course I'm going to demonize someone like that. Hello, Mao. He said Murkowski's support for abortion rights is unacceptable for a Republican. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, so in other words, you have to toe the party line. Groupthink. That's what it is. The Republican Party is useless as failed people like Glenn Clary, who wants to get along by coddling Lisa Murkowski just because she's powerful. It's disgusting. Okay. Cool, dude. Not all Alaska's local Republican officials support the effort to censure Murkowski in House District 32, which sprawls around the Gulf of Alaska, coast of Kodiak to Cordova. Chairman Duncan Field said he supports Murkowski. He believes that there could be a silent majority of Republicans who support Murkowski even if they don't agree with every action she takes. There's a good number of Alaskan Republicans that like her conservative principles. That's sort of Alaska independent. I'm going to vote my conscience. That's the Alaska thing to do. Vote your conscience? That's weird. Unbelievable. So much for the tolerant right. Alright, folks, I'm going to take a quick break. And and then we'll get to some of these other articles. Okay, so quick break and a quick second to show for myself. Folks, if you enjoyed the channel and enjoyed the content... Wait, I have arrived. Hey, Gary, how's it going? Don't worry, we're gonna take a quick break. If you enjoy the content, please make sure you hit that follow button and head on over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. I appreciate all of you guys being here, and of course, spread the word. I enjoy the content. Yeah, that's why you follow, Kevin. I see you. Yeah, and if you enjoy the content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, all of that awesome stuff, and it really does help us out. And spread the word everywhere that this is the chillest place to do news and politics. I will be right back. Hey, Carlos Wimper, how's it going? Well, what's all this then? Yeah, they're having a very interesting discussion about food. Food, diet, and weight loss, apparently, is what's happening. Is what's happening in chat. US workers go on strike in 15 cities to demand a $15 minimum wage. Workers at fast food restaurants, this was yesterday. Workers at fast food restaurant chain in 15 cities around the US went on strike on Tuesday, demanding a raise in the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The workers at McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, joined by home care and nursing home workers, took action as the Biden administration is attempting to push through an increased federal minimum wage from $7.25 and what would be the first increase since 2009. Jesus. That's 12 years? 11 years? 12? I don't know. I can't math. Strikes occurred in Charleston, South Carolina, Chicago, Flint, and Detroit, Michigan, Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina, Houston, Miami, Orlando, Tampa. Nice. Hey. St. Louis, Oakland, Sacramento, and San Jose, California, and Milwaukee. Since 2012, the Fight for 15 movement has organized low-wage workers across the U.S. to push for state and local minimum wage increases to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. We hear you out there applauding essential workers. We see the big show you make of thanking us, but to be honest, that hasn't translated into any changes for my life. We're living on a razor's edge before COVID hit South Carolina, and we're living on it still. Taiwana Milligan, a McDonald's worker in Charleston who made $8.75 an hour after working in a restaurant chain for 8 years, in a recent op-ed demanding $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Like, it's crazy that, you know, people who work so hard can't even make $15 an hour. Workers are conducting strikes as a proposal to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025 is included in the coronavirus relief package House Democrats plan to pass and send to the Senate over the next 2 weeks. In the Senate, legislation still faces potential hurdles, including Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema of Arizona, who opposed including this in the bill, and pandemic relief, and the possibility of Senate's parliamentarian ruling a minimum wage measure can't be included in the relief bill. Hold on, folks. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, if you're taking like 725 versus 15, of course I'm gonna take 725, you know? Yeah, it's been about 12 years, Careless Whisper. Arizona, who's opposed including the bill and the pandemic relief and the possibility of Senate parliamentarian ruling a minimum wage measure, can't be included in the relief bill. The problem is, and I originally agreed with the position that if it's such a big problem, then we can make it a separate bill. However, that would require Republicans to be on board with an attempt to raise the minimum wage over time, even if it takes 5 years. 10 Republicans are not going to be found. 10 Republicans aren't going to be found. So it kind of has to be done in this way to get any type of progress done regarding minimum wage, right? Because we couldn't even find 10 Republicans to vote guilty off what was a clear offense by Donald Trump. We couldn't even find 10. So I don't think we'll find 10 to try to help and make this a better place. And try at least make an effort to improve the conditions here. I don't think we'll find 10. Aishia Frances has worked at Freddy Frozen Custards in West Durham, North Carolina since July of 2020, making $9.20 an hour. She was one of the several workers who went on strike Tuesday. A 15 minimum wage would free me up to do a lot of things. My main goal is to be able to save up enough money to put a down payment on a house and have home ownership. It would allow me to begin that process. It would allow me to have money left from one paycheck to the next to provide for my family as far as food, and allow me to get transportation so I won't have to take the bus. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously this would be huge. This would be huge. In October of 2020, Frances and her coworkers went on strike after the request for paid sick leave for COVID quarantining and testing were initially denied. Jesus. The Families First Coronavirus Response Act passed in March of 2020, exempted employers with more than 500 employees from granting employees 2 weeks' pay if they needed to quarantine or recover from COVID. Now, Francis and her co-workers are fighting for a 15 minimum wage, hazard pay while they continue to work during the pandemic, health benefits, and ultimately a union. Nice. Sometimes businesses get caught up in doing business that they forget who runs their businesses. We're gonna keep fighting and not stop until we get all the equality we're fighting for. Congress needs to put our money where their mouth is. During the campaigns, they said they were going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Live up to what you said. We don't have to wait till next year or the next year after. The bill is there. Let it pass. Just pass it and be done with it. Based on recent analysis from the Brookings Institute, 47% of essential workers are in occupations where the median wage is currently less than 15% and then less than $15 an hour. Gradually raising it to $15 an hour would increase pay for 32 million workers in the U.S., including 59% of workers with total family income below the poverty line. With the federal minimum wage increase, 31% of Black workers and 26% of Latino workers in the U.S. would receive a raise. Yeah, I mean, like this is just basically being a decent human being and acknowledging that these jobs still have to be done. And just try to pay these people and try to pay these people what they're worth. I mean, of course, 15 isn't going to be enough, but it's a step in the right direction. And stop paying people poverty wages. Now, that's the deal here. Yeah, he resigned. He resigned right after that supposedly private post became public. All right. Hit me up.
American housing is in crisis. Right now, up to 12 million Americans are behind an average of $5,800 on rent and risk eviction. With eviction moratoriums soon to expire, we're facing an unprecedented wave of evictions and foreclosures that will crash straight into millions of struggling families across the country. But the truth is, this crisis didn't begin with the pandemic. In fact, housing has been in crisis for a very long time. Even before the pandemic, in places like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, median rents for even one-bedroom apartments could approach $2,500 a month or more. About a third of people in Los Angeles spend a majority of their income on housing. In New York City, about 20% of all renters pay most of their income to their landlord. And in my district, Astoria, about a quarter of residents have to spend most of their paycheck on rent. And the crisis isn't just in big cities. In 95% of all U.S. counties, workers making the minimum don't make enough to afford a one-bedroom rental on their own.
Yeah, which kind of piggybacks on what I was saying
housing in the United States,
about
in which nearly half
about
of all
moving
renter households spend almost a third of their income on rent.
Raise the minimum
That's
wage.
why even before the fallout from the coronavirus started to hit, more than 500,000 Americans nationwide were already homeless. Millions more on the brink of losing their housing, and countless families struggling every month to make ends meet. At the root of all of this suffering is the fact that in this country, housing is treated as a commodity, not a right. It's a consumer product, just like clothes or cars, that private businesses can sell on the market to make a profit. And if someone isn't able to pay, either because their landlord raised their rent or because they can't work for one reason or another, they're not able to stay in their homes. If they're lucky, they can live with friends or family, or maybe in transitional housing for a bit. But for a lot of people, they have nowhere else to go, and they end up sleeping on the streets. In December 2019, the number of people sleeping in homeless shelters in New York reached 19,000 people, an all-time high. 100,000 New York City students are homeless. That's more than 10% of the entire student population. Why do so many people end up homeless? It's not because there aren't enough homes to go around. There are plenty of empty homes. No, it's because housing people is not the primary goal of developers or landlords. Their goal, simply put, is to make a profit.
True.
And it's much more profitable to build luxury apartments for the rich than decent homes for the poor. This gives us a big shortage of homes for ordinary working people. For every 100 households that are extremely low income, there are only 36 affordable and available homes. As a result, we have plenty of housing for the rich. but poor and working class people don't have nearly enough on the market. So we have people scrounging to make ends meet or sleeping on the streets right below luxury condos and uninhabited apartments. This is a terrible way to organize a housing market. It might be profitable for landlords and developers, but it's not efficient or beneficial for the rest of society. In fact, housing doesn't have to be seen as a market at all. In other countries, housing is considered a fundamental right, like education or healthcare. That means the government goes to significant lengths to guarantee everyone has a home, and the market plays a much smaller role in the construction and distribution of housing. So let's hop across the pond and about 100 years back in time to take a look at just one example of how an alternative housing model got started in beautiful red Vienna. At the end of the First World War, the Austro-Hungarian Empire collapsed, leaving behind a number of successor states, including modern-day Austria, home to the former imperial capital of Vienna, the fifth largest city in the world. Despite being the seat of an empire, the chaos of the war and decades of neglect had left the working class of Vienna in desperate circumstances. Inflation was rampant, jobs were scarce, social services were non-existent, and hundreds of thousands of people were crammed into decaying tenements where overcrowding, disease, and violence were rampant. So it's no surprise that in 1919, at the first elections ever held in Austria where all adult citizens could vote, the Social Democratic Party swept into power at the municipal level on the promise of dramatic social and economic reform. And they delivered. The new government of Vienna implemented a huge range of services, including public health care and public childcare. They built high-quality hospitals, schools, and
Wait, are they trying to make an ad for my favor?
facilities. But their crowning achievement was an ambitious program of social housing, what Americans call public housing, that began in 1923 and saw 60,000 new apartments constructed in the first year of its existence, built by the government and financed by taxes on the rich. But these weren't the kinds of apartments you might picture when you think of public housing in the United States. Drab high-rises plagued by chronic neglect and underinvestment. Residents could enjoy leafy courtyards, wide open spaces, and plenty of natural light. They had shared laundries, state-of-the-art kitchens, food co-ops, bathhouses, pharmacies, lecture halls, schools, and swimming pools. These apartments were designed to be both beautiful to look at and beautiful to live in, fostering a sense of shared community among the people who lived there. And the best part was that because the city didn't have to worry about making a profit, just about paying off their maintenance costs, these homes were both much nicer and much cheaper than what workers had previously known. In 1926, the average rent in Viennese social housing was about just 4% of a monthly wage. The first 15 years after Austrian independence saw its capital transform from a symbol of urban blight into a beacon of socialist governance. It became known as Red Vienna, after the official color of the socialists who had pioneered these changes.
Yeah, like, we know that this is cheaper to solve just by making sure people have this, yeah? Yeah, Cheeto, post it in the Discord, in the article section.
And even though Red Vienna fell in 1934 when the country was seized by fascists, who did what they could to roll back social housing, that commitment to good, cheap housing remained after the Second World War. Today, an astonishing 62% of all city residents live in social housing, with the average monthly rent falling somewhere between $400 and $600 a month, with subsidies for lower-income tenants. That is a fraction of what people in America pay.
True.
Unlike in the United States, where public housing is treated as a worst-case way to house the very poor, Vienna's social housing residents are extremely diverse. Everyone except the top fifth of the population is eligible to live in social housing. This means there's broad appeal across many segments of society, which creates the foundation for its political popularity. That is how the majority of people in Vienna enjoy something that's considered almost utopian here in New York. Affordable housing that isn't just cheap, but desirable. Housing that isn't just four walls and a roof, but a real home, with a sense of stability, safety, and community built in. Now, of course, this is only one example of an alternative framework for housing, and Vienna has not fully removed housing from the domain of the market. Residents still pay part of their earnings in rent to cover operational costs,
yeah, but
and a sizable chunk of the population lives in private housing. But it's an actually existing alternative that shows us what a step toward a better world could look like. If we want to end the housing crisis, the solution has to be moving toward the full decommodification of housing. In other words, moving away from the status quo, in which most people access housing by purchasing it on the market, and toward a future where we guarantee high-quality housing to all as a human right.
Oh, I don't have a link. I just
how
want
can
to
we
say
do it?
asterisk, asterisk,
We can
asterisk.
start by making sure people who access housing on the private market
Yeah, you
have
should follow
ironclad
Berlin.
protections against abuse and exploitation. But to go further, toward the Vienna
Who
model,
isn't
we'll have
following
to go
Berlin?
beyond the market. We can
I
establish
see.
community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership.
Wow,
We can give
cool,
tenants a right of first
amazing.
refusal
All
to
things
buy out
that
their
I've
landlords when
proposed
buildings go up for
earlier.
sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us. And we know how we'll get there, through a movement of the multiracial working class organizing for the better world we know is possible. And we've already begun. I'm Zohran Mamdani, Assemblyman for New York's 36th Assembly District in Astoria, Queens, for the Gravel Institute.
Yeah. Yeah. I've proposed ideas like this before. I mean, this isn't like some big brain like theory or anything like that. It just makes sense as to how to solve this problem, right? This isn't some like 200 IQ economics take or anything like that. It's just number one, it's just the right thing to do, and number two, it's the easiest, cheapest way to solve the homelessness. Easy and cheap way to solve homelessness, and will deliver positive results economically down the road. I mean, this is a win-win-win-win-win. So yeah, to piggyback off that, because like if you have workers who make you have workers who make $15 an hour as a minimum wage, but have like housing that costs what did the video say, like $400 to $600 a month, a place they could actually live in. That's like perfect, and it solves a lot of these issues. I think it's a great idea. I think the proposal there is a great idea, because I've also had similar thoughts as well. So yeah, 100%. I like that video. Great video. Okay, meme time. So, for those of you that don't know, there was a incident where Citibank accidentally sent $500 million by mistake, and well, man, it seems like they can't get it back, which I find hilarious. Citibank can't get $500 million it wired by mistake. After committing one of the biggest blunders in banking history. Wait. I firmly reject this. The biggest blunder in banking history was the financial crisis in 2008. I'm sorry. Nothing in my opinion, well, in my so far life, will beat that. Maybe shorting stocks to the point where you lose billions is up there. Maybe shorting GameStop stocks to the point where you lose billions, maybe that's up there, but that's neither here nor there. Won't be allowed to recover the almost $500 million it accidentally wired to Revlon lenders. Revlon's lenders, a U.S. District Court judge ruled. Citibank, which was acting as a Revlon loan agent, meant to send about $8 million in interest payments to the cosmetic company lenders. Instead, Citibank oh my god, can you imagine the person who authorized this? The person who authorized this and allowed this to happen? Can you imagine? Instead, Citibank accidentally wired 100 times that amount, including $175 million to a hedge fund. In all, Citi accidentally sent $900 million to Revlon lenders. Some lenders did return the money, but others did not. Citibank filed a lawsuit in August seeking the return of its funds, but it has not received $500 million. But it still has not received the $500 million from its 10 investment advisory firms after the accidental transfer. The law usually punishes those who spend money accidentally deposited in their accounts. Accidental transfers are common in the digital age, and wires can be paid back instantly. A Pennsylvania couple faced felony charges after spending money accidentally deposited in their account. The New York law has exceptions to this rule, known as the discharge for value defense. The beneficiary is entitled to the money and did not know it was accidentally wired. They can keep it. Revlon lenders said they believe Citibank was wiring prepayments for a loan. After all, the money accidentally wired was the exact amount to the penny Citibank owed them. although the loan wasn't set to mature for quite some time. I see. We're extremely we're extremely pleased with Judge Furman's thoughtful, thorough, detailed decision, said Benjamin Feinstone, who represents two lenders, Brigade and HBS Investment Partners. The court ruled the lenders were justified in believing the payment was intentional. Citibank itself did not realize the magnitude of its mistake until nearly a day later. To believe that Citibank, one of the most sophisticated financial institutions in the world, had made a mistake that had never happened before to the tune of nearly 1 billion. Wait, no, it was nearly half a million. Come on. Would have been borderline irrational. The judge ruling used internal chats between HBS employees as further proof the creditors had no idea the wiring was a mistake until after Citibank sent notices. In the chat, which was dated a day after the mistake in wiring, HBS employees joked about the error. I feel really bad for the person that fat-fingered 900 million in erroneous payment. Not a great career move. Yikes. Certainly looks like they'll be looking for new people in their ops group. How was work today? It was okay, except I accidentally sent $900 out to people who weren't supposed to have it. Maybe the dog hit the keyboard? Jesus. I mean, still. Jesus. Our beans, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for the biddies. What the heck? Anywho, welcome, Arbeans. Thank you for the follow, Mayan Max. Have you seen what's been going on with Myanmar? True. Yes. Talk on how successful Western media has been in deteriorating India's image. I have no idea what you're talking about. This all literally boils down to no, those are our numbers on the screen, not yours. True. Yes, I did see what happened. It's unbelievable. It seems like that happens ever so often. It's quite sad because they literally had a democratically elected government and the military just didn't like it. The military didn't like it because their candidates lost. That's basically it. It sounds oddly familiar. Nah, we don't need any ideas. Don't blame the dog, that's definitely the work of a kitty. True. We strongly disagree with the decision and intend to appeal. Yeah, okay. We believe we are entitled to the funds and will continue to pursue a complete recovery of them, Citigroup said. Nah, you can't be mad that you messed up to the tune of $500 million. The pandemic has hurt makeup brands like Revlon, shares of which are trading more than 40% lower than... Yeah, nobody cares. But I just thought that this was a great meme article. At the end of the day, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I just found this extremely hilarious. Imagine you're the guy that made that transfer. Jeez. Hey, who knows? Oh my god. Can you imagine, like, you're just like, And boop. There goes $500 million. Jesus. He's probably swimming with the fishies, honestly. Nah, he probably just got fired. Whoever it was, that person definitely doesn't have a job. Unless it, but then again, like, you could say that, like, $500 million, that was approved. That was approved by somebody. So he will probably, no. Banks are like the mafia? You think so? You think they're, well, I don't know. Yeah, the idea that $500 million, oof. Ooh, I don't know. Banks are corrupt as hell. Yeah, well, corrupt, yes. But at the end of the day, this doesn't affect any of us. I just thought it was kind of a funny story where like this bank just it just proves how like at any given point, I mean, $500 million just poof, gone. Hello. That's why you don't wire money. True. Jesus. Yeah, I can't see myself like I can't see myself being that guy, being in that position. Not being that guy, being that in that position, because you best believe that I would be like that. I would be that guy that makes that mistake. These are the people that the Democrats support. What are you talking about? This isn't a political article. Blame Citibank for not having more internal checks and safety guards. If a single person could be responsible for such a big mistake, the system is flawed. True. I don't know. I feel like somebody had to approve this. I feel like somebody had to approve this. This is like low tier trolling. This is like low tier trolling. This isn't a political article. This was just a meme article. I can't believe this. I mean, you know what? Clearly they knew, and you know what this makes me think? Because they filed a lawsuit, I think that this is an attempt to recover the mistake that somebody approved. Because if it was like something that just kind of happened, um, as just like a mistake, like a lower, I guess not leadership employee just kind of hit a button or something, because I don't know how any of that works, then you know they might have just like saved face and made a whole like PR campaign about it, but they actually went and seek damages. They actually went and seek damages as I feel like this was some serious like mistake that somebody approved. It's not political because it has nothing to do with Republicans. What are you talking about? This isn't. Wait. Wait. Hold on. Do you see a Republican or Democrat anywhere in this article? Somebody, please. I must have like something wrong with my eyes today. Yawn. This is some low tier trolling. I'm not even trying to talk. Like, this article had nothing to do with like political parties. Anyways. But the idea that they had to sue to get this money back makes me think like, wait, this is to save face for somebody up high that made this decision consciously. And the fact that like, I don't know, this had to have been approved. So I think that they're just trying to save face by saying like, well, actually, the Green Party is money. The Green Party, because money is green. True. It was an executive. My gut tells me so. Yes. Yes, I'm telling you, it has to be some higher up that's trying to save face. Like, for sure. Like, some type of executive. If the bank accidentally gives you money, they'll put a lien on your account and just take the money back. Yeah, they'll just like, I mean, we saw this happen, but apparently the reason why it's like, oh, there's an exemption to the rule discharge for value defense, because it actually met the money that they owed. that Citibank owed them anyways. So that's kind of like the cop-out that they used. Yeah. Don't stop your account. 100% Grolem. But in this case, there was an exception to that. So, but either way, the fact that they sued is like already super suspect to me. The fact that they sued. By the way, okay, hold on, folks. Now that I have like quite the you know, about 2 weeks later they took the camera. Jesus. Folks. I wonder if it's just some sort of corruption that was aired accidentally. Maybe, who knows? Folks, really quickly, if you guys don't know, the Nomiki Show is on Twitch. And if you guys want to have some cool content, the Nomiki Show is on Twitch now. You guys can go check it out. They also do have emotes and cool stuff like that now, so absolutely go and support the Nomiki Show. They're on a partner push at this time. Please also support Ben. Is also on a partner push. The Nomiki Show is at 3. Bleep, Womp, Ben. If the bank accidentally transferred 500 million, I'd be gone. Oh man, can you imagine? Oh man, can you imagine? Oof. 500 million. I wouldn't even know what to do with 1 million. That money's going off to an offshore account. Watch, one day we're just gonna wake up. One day we're gonna wake up and then like Grolem's gonna be gone. Never heard from again. Stream nonsense, just chatting is not a thing that you play. True. I also don't play politics, but it insists that I'm playing politics at this time. I changed it to politics because I had it. So I have this problem with OBS, OBS and totally something that I'm not doing. So I can't talk about it. But when I ask OBS to update the stream title and the stream category to everything, it doesn't do it. It says that I updated it, but then when I look, it says that it's Saturday Catterday on just chatting. I don't know. It's so weird. It always does this. Offshore account immediately, and then I started a co-op real estate company dedicated to turn all homes into co-ops. True. Everyone okay, basic maintenance. But they also get mechanic and maids and lawn care. Cool. I'm gonna make sure that we stay in touch. I'm gonna post a picture of Discord of me in Colombia drinking aguardiente. No, you don't exist, Grolem. Don't do that. You don't exist. Enjoy. Enjoy the hypothetical. $500 million. The name legally changed to Grolem? Yeah, that's the only way I'll know. I'll just get a random postcard one day. Listen, I'll get a random postcard one day with a Kek W emote and a aguardiente. That's it. That'll be the postcard. It'll just be a postcard from like no address, no nothing. It'll just have a postcard with a Kek W picture and an aguardiente, and then I'll be like, oh, cool, nice, he made it. I'll, I'll get a random postcard. And it'll just be that emo, and then it'll just be aguardiente, and I'll be like, wow, he did it. He really did it. Oh man. I of course cannot legally endorse any of these actions. However, in a hypothetical, I would think it's funny. Thanks for the follow, Davi. I appreciate that. Oh man, that would be just be the amazing, right? What a story! What a story to tell, huh? Wow, unfortunately, man, unfortunately, the as I'm reading here, the death count to the winter storm in Texas was raised to 17. Hi, I'm from Brazil. Nice. Ignored? Jeez. I'm just going through some headlines. Brazil. Hola. Daddy, where did we get all our money? Well, it all started with a W emo, aguardiente, and a dream. True. Don't worry, I'm catching up on chat, Davey Lubin. I'll occasionally buy the lotto when after taxes 100. And the dream of never having to work and follow my passions. Bom dia, todo bom. Todo bem. Tudo bom. Oh, is it? Let's see if I got this right. Eu falo português um pouquinho. I'll probably work to stay balanced, but only a little bit. If I had $100 million, whew, can you imagine? Diaz pronounced Gia. Gia? Gia. Bom Gia. Longer G? Gotcha. It is like Spanish, but some of the pronunciations of the letters are switched around. So H is F, things like that, you know? So sometimes I can read it and I can understand it, but I can't speak it that well. So I can read it and I can read it and I can read it and understand it, and I just can't speak it properly enough to say that I speak Portuguese. It's very similar to Spanish, just familiar. Just similar enough to be confusing. Yeah. It is. It's 100% similar to Spanish. Like if you put Portuguese in front of me, like I can read it. You beat me to it. Yeah, these bots come in here all the time. Beep boop, beep boop. 5 followers now. Beep boop. I don't even know if any of those are true or what would be the point of that. What is exactly the point of summoning a bot army to go around random like streams and just like post that? Like, oh yes, buy followers now. Like, okay. Anywho, I can read Portuguese. I can listen and understand it. I can't write it, and I can't speak it very well. Yeah, I suppose that if you fish, eventually you'll get somebody who doesn't know any better. So I guess it, like in the long run, it will yield some unknowing people who fall into it. I can read and understand Spanish and write Spanish, but I can't speak it great. Yeah, I mean, like, that's basic, like, that's like as basic as you need. I mean, it's required where we are, right, girl? It's kind of required where we are in terms of, like, at least being able to understand it. But I always found, like, Portuguese and like, Italian and French and these Latin languages pretty interesting because, like, you can kind of like piece puzzles together and to try to make like what, or at least understand it. If you read it, if you stare at it long enough, it'll come to you. So, final headline. Unfortunately, 17 people passed away so far. Originally the number was 11 as of the last time I checked. So yeah, that's what we have as of a few hours ago. Mind you, this is coming off the mayor saying that residents are just lazy. People shouldn't ask for handouts, and screw you, if you die, that's your problem. That's basically the implication there. But I wanted to buy viewers. Biden is the best president ever. I wouldn't say he's the best president ever. I will say that it's slightly better. I will say that's I will say this. Some of the stuff that he's proposed is good, and he is, in some respects, moving towards slight improvements. So yeah, I mean, like, for example, the idea that he's been pushing for coronavirus relief, the idea that he's been pushing for, you know, actually trying to get some type of minimum wage on the table, sure. Biden's line that he needs congressional approval to end it all, every penny of student debt, when in reality it'll take one paperwork. Yeah, he could do it. What, can he do it via exec? Can you do it via executive order? I don't know. I can speak coherently about the early modern Spanish and Portuguese empires. Yes, because you study history. Yes, I'm about to end stream. That's true. Have a good day. You have a good day. And to be clear, Biden say he won't make the 10K for student loans happen after he said he would. Didn't he push for 50? For 50K? Either way, if he eliminates 50K, 10K, it would be marginally be better. Hey, later, thank you so much for stopping by, Grolum. It would be marginally better? Of course, Grolum. Of course. That doesn't mean like he's the best president ever. I don't know. There's still a lot of stuff that has to happen. But hey, we'll see. So far, underwhelming, but small steps in right directions have been taken in comparison to what we had, you know. So who knows? Thanks for the show. Thank you guys for stopping by. You guys are what makes this go. Yes, I do have to get going to work. Please, again, guys, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit that follow button and make sure you go on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. It really does help us out. And make sure to tell anybody and everybody, we really appreciate all the support. We can't do this without you. Thanks for all the new follows. Thank you, Armeens, for the cheer. Thank you, Alio, for the cheer. Thank you, Armeens is one cool person. Thank you, Chai Bureaucrat, for the subscription. I appreciate that. On all the new follows as well. Alio with another 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Please go check them out as well. So yes, please go check out Alio. Please go check out the Nomiki Show. Please go check out Grolem. These are all awesome content creators. We're gonna head out to Ben's because Ben is on a partner push. So we need to make sure we can help. Ben is like at 68 viewers right now. Let's everybody that's in here stay here. And let's head on over to Ben. That would be perfect because that would be over 75. So let's help Ben out. All right, they're great people. And yeah, let's show some a difficult truth love. Again, guys, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, doing the news and politics. I love you all. Take care and take care of each other. I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya. All right, guys, stay with me. All right, stay with me. We're rating Ben. We're rating Ben. See ya, Cheeto. And let's see if we can help Ben out on this partner push. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.